All right, everybody. Hey, it is great to see you guys. It is great to be with you guys tonight. Hi, Anna. It's good to see you. So we actually have a lot of you guys are brand new that are on this call. So this actually is a call that we call the Elites on the Rise. We do the Zoom every Monday night, 8:30 Central. So the domain that you guys logged into, save it. It's the one we always use. We also always record this as well. So we actually put it up in a playlist. So we will make sure that you can either grab that playlist link from your upline, or you can message me. I'll definitely make sure you guys get it. So this is actually, we're kind of switching things up a little bit. Originally, this Zoom was one that we did that was for silver team leaders and above, which was awesome. But we had so many people that say, can't we just do this for everybody? So we decided that we're gonna do this for everyone. And so one thing that's really cool is we bring a lot of the amazing elites that are part of this team here every single week to get on and do training, etc. And so I just thought, gosh, this will be a great just training ground to where you guys will just get such good nuggets, because there's so many incredible leaders that are here. And so we like to try to do this call to about 30 minutes. It might go a little bit long today because I'm actually going to be jamming through a PowerPoint with you guys and talking with you guys a little bit about just managing expectations inside of your business. So I'm actually going to share my screen. And it's kind of funny. I didn't have time to change this. I actually was going through my notes and I found an old PowerPoint, and I can tell because my font's old on here. I'm like, wow, this is old, but it's an oldie but a goodie. But this was one of the trainings that I used to do with so many people their first month, 2 months, 3 months inside of just getting started. And this is a training that I think is number one, if you're brand new, perfect. Number two, this is a great refresher for a lot of people. And this was something that I constantly actually have had to remind myself over the years of building a business, because, it's a really, really important piece. And sometimes I feel that, this is a part that people sometimes skip over. And I feel that when we can manage our expectations correctly in the business, then just kind of whatever comes our way is just kind of what I call like water off a duck's back, right? You don't really flinch on it. And you're like, oh yeah, okay, I remember that Anna told me this might happen. Oh, I remember Cindy told me this might happen. And so when it does happen, you just you're just like, oh, okay, no biggie, right? And so I want to walk you guys through some of these things. But one of the things I want you guys to know, and it's so funny, you know how I know this PowerPoint is old? Because I graphicked it is so bad. It is so bad. So you guys get to have some humor with me and roll with it, but I don't really care. I'm like, I'm just going to go with this. I see the resolution is just like horrific. I'm like, wow, this is old. But the one thing that I feel that's so important in this business is that, for a while, when I started this business, I struggled early on building a business, and I couldn't figure out what was happening, right? I couldn't figure out why wasn't I getting the results. I couldn't figure out why wasn't I moving faster. Why is Susie like rank advancing and I'm not? And for me, I'd never been a business owner. I'd always been like an employee, right? I was a person that, clocked in, clocked out. I got paid every 2 weeks. Someone told me when to go to the bathroom, when I could take lunch, when I could have a break, when I could have time off. You guys know what I'm saying? Like, for a lot of us, that's what we're used to, right? And so then also we get in this deal and we're like, this is awesome. I'm in business for myself. And then you're like, holy crap, I don't even know how to act. Like, I don't even know how to be. I don't even know how to work inside of this. And so one of the really cool principles that I learned early on in my business was this graphic is showing, and they said, there's 3 parts to our business, and there is the product, there's the plan, that's you. And they said that, the most important piece, guys, really, and the only piece that we can control is us, right? And so, they just said, like, everything that you do, Sarah, you have to remember, like, it's how you act inside your business and not react, right? In everything that happens. And, one of the things that they asked me early on is they said, Sarah, it's really important, like, think about how do you actually view success? And I know for myself, like, I literally thought like it was like, like it was like a straight line, right? And the reality is, like, I looked at it as kind of like on one side, I would either fail, or the other side, I would have success. And the reality was in our business is that, oh my gosh, this PowerPoint is so old, it's cracking me up, is that you kind of actually have to fail yourself all the way through into success, right? And I had to learn how to go, okay, so a lot of these things that I am doing in my business, like I might not be great at them, but I have to know like anything that I get good at or anything that we're great at. Think about like something you're really, really good at, right? You probably weren't that great at the beginning, right? It was something that we kind of like, we're like, oh my God, I'm kind of sinking in this. Like, this is tough, right? And then you got better and better and better. And that's the same thing inside of this business is no, like, there are going to be a lot of kind of like points inside your business that you're going to kind of grow through, and you're going to get better, right? And, when I look at, I love this. This is so ironic because Tony and I did a Facebook Live today that talked about how, early on in our business, it's like, I don't know if any of you guys can relate, but it's like you feel like you're like work, 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 and then you get paid, right? And it's kind of like we work these 10 hours and then we get paid for one. And we're like, what the heck? You know what I mean? And it's so like this graphic is so awesome because it's just like what happens inside of our business is just understanding that in the beginning you're going to be putting in a lot more time than the money that you make. But guess what? You're going to get better because then all of a sudden you're talking to more people and you're getting better at inviting and you're getting better at follow-up and you're getting better at using the ATM system, right? And you're getting better at showing the videos and doing three-way chats, right? The fundamentals of our business. And so year by year by year, understand that graph is eventually going to flip, right? Is going to eventually flip. And so, this slide really helped me when I was new my first couple of years because it just helped me really stay grounded. It helped me not like freak out, like, okay, I feel like I'm working so hard. And then I'm like, oh, hey, here's a penny, right? I mean, I made more than that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I was feeling. And so this graphic for you is really important your first couple of years because this is really, truly how the business works. But I will tell you, being here 7 years now, that it has flipped for sure. I mean, I still work crazy because I love to work and I love to help create, new stories and work with new people and celebrate people. I love all that. But I will tell you, like, the early part of like the first couple of years, it has definitely changed just because things have changed, right? That my business is bigger. I've got more customers that I've worked on acquiring, right? And so forth. So this slide is really important for us to really remember as we're going out there and building our business every day. Now, one of the things, guys, I really think that is so crucial is also too is, manage your expectation. I tell people like, you got to know where you're going, right? You got to know where you're going in this business. And so, where you're going is you got to figure out like, why the heck are you doing this? Like, what are the things that are going to be the driving forces in your business that are going to get you to jump out of bed a little bit earlier, that are going to get you to stay up a little bit later, that's going to get you to do another three-way chat when you don't want to do it, or connect with one more person when you're tired, right? And what are those things going to be? So you got to figure that out, whether it's travel or it's time freedom, or you want to get out of debt, or you want to spend more time with your family, or you want to make money, which isn't a bad thing, right? Because money is a great tool to do some awesome things. What is that? Right? And making sure that you know that, but also too, guys, as we are bringing brand new people on board, you got to know where they're going. You got to ask them, right? You got to find that out because here's what I do know. I know that there are really great days in our business. And you know what I also know? There's some really hard days in our business. And so you've got to be that person that can whisper in somebody's ear and lean on them ever so slightly and remind them like, hey, Susie, this is why you're doing the business, right? This is where you're going. This is what you're shooting for. So it's really important that, as you are managing your expectations, you also need to know like where the heck you're actually on, right? Big piece of it. So let's talk a little bit about the fundamentals of the business, okay? Oh my gosh, I can't believe these automations are on here. All right, this is so funny. So guys, one of the things that when I have a brand new person that comes on board, we walk through 5 things in this business, okay? Number 1, I tell them, I'm like, listen, you can have tremendous success here, but you have to make sure that you are teachable. You have to make sure that you're teachable. You have to be somebody that, follow, not only says, because here's the thing that I think is funny. People always go, oh, I'm teachable. And so then we give them the steps, right? The launching steps of the business, and they don't do it, right? Or they're kind of like, well, I like this, but I don't know if I like that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, I like A, B, and C, but D, I don't really know. And E, I don't know. I think I might tweak it and like make it my own, right? And so then I'm like, oh, I realized very quickly that that person maybe isn't as teachable as I thought they were, right? So, I encourage people, I'm like, guys, the more teachable that you can be, just the better results that you're going to get. I mean, even to this day, for myself, every day, remind myself, Sarah, stay teachable, stay flexible, like keep learning, keep being a student. Because I know that's the only way that I'm going to grow. You know what I mean? That's the only way that I'm going to get better with my skills inside of Modere. Second thing that we teach people is, guess what? This business is not a lottery ticket, right? Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which, by the way, is my favorite movie. I know every line in that movie, but do not treat this like a lottery ticket. I tell people, like, we got to get in, we got to roll up our sleeves, we got to work, right? You do the 4-letter word that most people don't like to do. We got to work it. And so what does that mean? The lottery ticket, that means the post and pray method, right? Hey, right? Yes, we got a great launch system, but it doesn't mean you just throw up the, hey, what do you like better, Amazon or Netflix, and think that you're going to have, you know what I mean, 5 BioCell orders flying off from that post, right? No, that is not what it is. It's still about learning how to invite. It's learning about how to do a 3-way chat. It's learning what to do, on the back end in Messenger, right? Sharing your code, getting him into the groups, right? Tagging him in the groups, that type of thing. So it's a like not hope to get lucky business, right? We don't do that here at Modere. We don't hope to get lucky. Like, we make our own luck. You guys know what I'm saying? Like, there was a saying that I put up a couple of weeks ago that said, some wish for it, we work for it here at Modere, right? It's like, we don't hope that things work around here at Modere. We don't cross our fingers. We don't wish in this team. Like, we go out and we actually do the work and learn the skills to build this business. Okay. So no lottery ticket mentality here in this team. Third thing, guys, is, guess what I tell people? See that roller coaster? That's our business, okay? I wish I could say there were not ebbs and flows. I wish I could say there weren't days that you're like, oh my gosh. But this is what I tell people, guys. Our business, like any other business, being an entrepreneur, you're going to have those days. And so I tell people, guys, you might as well throw on a helmet, raise your hands and say, let's do this, okay? Like, let's go. Like, I wear a helmet every day because I'm just like, I don't really know what's going to happen, right? We're in the people business, and you guys know, like, there's a lot of crazy stuff with people, right? So you just have to be willing to go, listen, we're going to go through the ebbs and flows. You're going to have awesome months, and you're going to have crappy months, and you're going to have okay months, and we're going to just go through it. But guess what? Like, that's business. Like, that's business 101. So know that that is going to happen in your business. Fourth thing, you got to keep a good attitude. Okay. You got to keep a good attitude here. Like, our business is not about the negative Nellies, guys, because here's the thing. Outside of Modere, it ain't hard to be negative. We all see it. Some of us might be living with people that are. People are watching it. It is everywhere that we go. Like, inside of our business here is that we choose to be positive. We choose to breathe life into people. We choose to encourage people. We choose to be positive ourselves in everything that we do, right? That's just how we roll inside of this team. Then the fifth fundamental, really simple, is this, guys. You've got to be willing to, like, you've got to be willing to say, hey, I'm gonna work this business for 5 years, okay? Now, it's interesting for me. I actually kind of have a different take on this now that this is actually an old slide. For me, on the live that I did today, I think that it's important that you take a deadline off your business. I think too many people put a deadline on. If I don't get these results in 90 days, I don't know if this works for me. I've been in a year, I haven't got the results that I wanted, or blah, blah, blah. I don't know if this works for me. I've been in 2 or 3 years. I'm not where I want to be yet. I've been in for 5 years. I'm like, listen, take the dang deadline off your business. Like, let's get in this, let's figure it out. Like for me personally, I was like, I don't care how long this takes me to figure it out. Like if it takes me 5 years to figure out how to create $10,000 a month in residual income, like I'm good. I'm good. Like, what would I have to do on my current job to get a $10,000 a month raise? Let's talk about that, right? So I'm like, so 5 years, so what, right? So I want to encourage you guys, if you have this big deadline, if you have this like, okay, I've got to hit this or I got to do that, like take the dang pressure off yourself right now and just be like, I'm just going to do this until. Really, at the end of the day, like we're just gonna do this. We're gonna do this together as a family. We're gonna do this as a team. We're gonna grow together. We're gonna have amazing experiences. We're gonna become incredible people, as we grow in this business. But these 5 fundamentals are really, really important to embody, to emanate, to work towards. Like every single day, I work on these things, guys, for me. Every single day, I tell myself, Sarah, take that deadline up. Every day, I'm like, Sarah, work for it. Don't wish for it. Sarah, every day, you got to have that positive attitude. Sarah, every day, okay, Sarah, maybe it's not a great day. Remember, put on your helmet, ebbs and flows, right? You know what I mean? So these fundamentals are so crucial when it comes to building your Modere business. So guys, this is something that's really important, okay? When you are brand new, okay? And if you're not brand new, guys, I don't want you to get bummed out. Greatest thing about this business is you can press a redo button, okay? I tell myself this every single month, is what's your story is so important, okay? Because when you're brand new, people are gonna ask you, how long have you been doing it? How much money have you made, okay? And you either have the ability to create a great story or not such a great story. And the way that can change is really about getting after it and taking action in your business. I know for myself personally, the way that I built my business all off of doing. Sure, I learned along the way, but I didn't do learn, and then work. No, I went work, learn, work, learn, work. You know what I mean? So it's like, for me, I was like, I gotta kind of like, I gotta get moving, and start doing the things, because I know that's the only way that I'm gonna get great at it. So it's important that, I tell people, your first like 30, 60, 90 days in this business, it is so important. I'm going to tell you guys something, okay? Straight up. So I've been in this business almost 7.5 years. What I did personally, my first 90 days in Modere is the exact reason that I'm where I'm at today. 100% is because of the story that I created. 100% from the action that I took. 100% from like everything that I did day in and day out. And I know that most of you guys are part-time, and I get that. But what I can tell you is that just because you're part-time doesn't mean you don't have a full-time attitude. It doesn't mean that in those part-time hours that you work this business, you work it full out, like full-time attitude, right? With everything that you do. So it's important that as you're brand new, you got to be thinking, okay, like I got to get moving, because I need to create a great story. Because here's what's cool, guys. The story that you create, when other people come on board, guess what happens? They're going to do exactly what you just did. They're going to follow you, right? They're not going to do what you tell them to do. They're going to do what you did, right? And so it's like I tell people, everything that we do in our business, we want to be the proper mold for our business. Right? We want to be that person it needs to be cookie cutter, like that mold, right? Everything. And so for me, I knew that I'm like, listen, I need to create a great story here my first 30, 60, 90 days, because if I do, everyone that I bring on board, they're going to say, Sarah, what'd you do? And I'd be like, I did this, and this. And they're like, okay, that's what I'll do. And they're going to do it. Right? So the thing is, you always want to be thinking, am I being the proper mold for my business? Right? And some of you guys, you've been around a while and you're thinking, God, I don't really have a story right now. Well, guess what? Like you can change that right now. You can go, I'm going to create a story this month. It's still 20th of the month tomorrow. We still got 11 days. You can create a story in 11 days, all day long you can here. So you always want to be thinking about, like, number one, what's your story? But also two, for those of you that are bringing people on board, your job is how fast can I help them create a story? Right? In my head, every single month, I guess what I'm thinking, one thing, I'm like, whose story do I get to help create? Whose story do I get to help craft? Whose story do I get to share this month, right? And that's everything that I do is all about creating those stories, because that's what creates the excitement and the buzz inside of our business that is absolutely contagious, right? It is contagious. That is the stories are the contagious part of our business. So always be thinking about that, right? What's your story and whose story can I help create? Okay. So let's jump into this. So there's actually 3 stages of stories, guys. When you are brand new, you might be thinking, shoot, I don't really have a story yet. Okay. Yet is the word. Okay. You will yet. So in the beginning, when I didn't have a story, right? I was 21 years old. I was a nanny. I had no business being in business, right? I'm like, I don't really got a story here, right? I was introducing some people to business. They hadn't said yes yet. I hadn't really acquired any customers, right? I was still kind of like just trying to figure all this out. So I didn't really have a story. So in the beginning, I actually used my upline story. So I want to encourage you guys, if you're brand new, use your sponsor story. Use someone that's cross-line that you heard their story. Use your upline story, right? I knew all those stories. I always tell those stories from the beginning until I created my own. Your goal, though, guys, is we want to push you out of telling the upline story to your story as fast as possible, And then from your telling your story, guess what we want to do? We want to go create those other stories, right? We want to start telling stories inside of your team, as you are, as you're growing in the business, right? So there's what I call 3 stories. There are 3 phases of stories that you're going to constantly be sharing inside of this business. So let's talk about this, guys. This was my very first list. Okay, check this out. This is my first list. It's so cool. When I saw this PowerPoint, I was like, oh my gosh. So remember, we tell people, sit down, put a list together, connect with people that you know. Guys, if you look at this list, what is one of the things that you notice? Can anyone tell me? It's all alphabetical. Where do you think I got this list from? My phone, okay? Don't just stick to Facebook. Don't just stick to social media. Get out your phone, empty it onto a piece of paper. My whole thing, I didn't prejudge anybody. I went out there and I'm like, I'm just going to go connect with these people. And you guys know, like, we've got incredible, like, inviting scripts. You guys have seen a lot of that stuff on how to invite. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you a secret sauce right now, okay? Majority of these people got involved in my business for one reason. You know why they got involved? They got involved because I was excited. They got involved because I was enthusiastic. They got involved because they knew that I was going somewhere with or without them. I didn't say that, but they could feel it, right? I didn't have the perfect script. I don't even remember really what I said. Some of them, they told me, they're like, Sarah, I don't really know what you're talking about, because I was probably speaking a bunch of mumbo jumbo to them. But guess what they said? I want to do this. I don't want to be the one that misses out. So remember in your invitation that the excitement that you bring when you connect with someone, that is so much more important than knowing everything about the product or everything about the comp plan or everything about the system. That is not why people are going to get in. Okay. They're going to get in because you're fired up. They know you're going somewhere. You want to do something with them. That is the reason that they are going to join your business. Okay. So I want you to keep it so simple when it comes to connecting with people. So let's talk about this next slide. I don't even know what's on this next slide. So let's see here. Okay. So let's talk about this. So this is a really great slide. Okay. So one of the things when you're brand new, guys, and I still focus on this today because I've ingrained this in my brain. It is so important to make sure that you fall in love with the process of the business, not the results of the business. Most of us, including myself, make this mistake of falling in love with the results, okay? Not saying results are not important. They are super important, right? That's how we rank advance. That's how we grow our pods and we go through the ranks, right? I get that. But sometimes when someone, you are so hooked into someone saying a yes or a no, you need to do your very best to separate from that, okay? You got to fall in love with the process. You got to fall in love with showing the business. I tell people, I fall in love with, I show the business and I show the business and I show the business and I show the business. And sometimes it falls on deaf ears. Sometimes people say yes. Sometimes people say maybe. Sometimes people say not now. Sometimes people tell me I'm crazy. Like, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, I have learned to fall in love with the process. And because of that, guess what happens? Is that I'm not emotionally attached. Majority of us that are on here are women, okay? That's gonna be our challenge. Our challenge is gonna be, okay, so there's these list of people that I need to contact. They're my friends, but you're telling me not to be emotionally attached, okay? Like, I get that. But it's really important for us to fall in with the process of the business. You know, my mentality going into this business was, it never was like, I need you in this business. It never was like, I'm begging you to get in. My mentality was this: I just want you to see what I'm up to, okay? Either you're gonna love it or you're not. Either way, you know what I'm up to. Maybe the timing's not right. Maybe you're gonna circle back. I just want you to know what I'm up to, and that's it. And I want to encourage you guys to have that same thought process when you're sharing the business, because guess what will happen? You will talk to your entire world, because you're not cherry picking the people that you think will say yes, right? Because that's what we do a lot of times. In the beginning of this business, we cherry pick people that we're going to talk to because we think that they're going to say yes, or, you know, like, we're not going to pick the ones that we think will say no, right? We just pick the ones that we think that are easy. And I tell people, like, guys, like, you really don't know what somebody's thinking. You really don't know what's going on behind closed doors with people, right? Like, do people, like, let's ask you guys, for example, does everyone really know everything that's happening in your life, right? They don't. So how can we expect that we think, oh, Joey wouldn't want to do this because he's too busy. Susie would never want to do this because she tried this and failed. Like, Joe, this wouldn't be something Joe would want to do, right? Like, that's not our job. Like, our job description is to show the business, guys. That is it. If someone says, what's your job? Guess what your job is? Show the business. That's all we do every day in this business is one thing. We show the business, and we share the product, right? But that is all that we do here. So I want to encourage you every day, be thinking about, as you're introducing the business, you need to be, it's like all of a sudden you're feeling emotional, or all of a sudden you're feeling kind of like these emotions. You got to stop, take a pause, right? And go, okay, am I falling in love with the process right now, or am I getting hooked on what the result's going to be? Okay. And if you're feeling like you're getting hooked on what the result's going to be, you got to release that. You got to release it, and you just got to be rolling with the process. Okay. I'm telling you, this was a massive breakthrough in my business, like big time, big time, big time. I can't even tell you how drastically different my business changed when I just fell in love with the show. Like, every day I'm just like, I show the plan, show the plan, show the plan. Like, that is all that I do in my business every day. So this is what I want you guys to see. This was really cool. Someone shared this with me, okay? They said, you know what, Sarah? I'm going to read my notes because I found my notes from this. Okay. So they said, so the one thing that I want to share with you guys that's important is, I know a lot of the elites that are on here, they probably already know this, they've heard this before, is that, you know, there is Jim Rohn, who is an incredible gentleman. If you've never followed him, he passed away a number of years ago, but he's incredible because he talks about the law of averages, right? And what happens, guys, inside of our business, and really any sales business, is typically the you know, kind of the law of averages is that for like every like 10 no's, you're going to get a yes. Okay. But the one thing you have to look at is that, you know, what if for every person that said yes inside your business, it was $100 bill, right? And in the no, it was like $10, right? And I tell people is that you've got to learn how to concentrate on making the no's, right? Flipping through that. You know, I tell people all the time in our business, imagine your business like a deck of cards, right? You've got 52 cards in the deck. Your goal is to find those aces. Okay, so if you're flipping through these cards, like, your job, guys, when you're going through your list of people, is just to flip. You know what I mean? Like, again, for me, going back to showing, right? So this is all I do every day. I'm like, show, yes, show, yes, show. Like, that's how I run my business every day, right? So it's like, thinking about your business as a deck of cards, you're just going flip, ace, great. Flip, ace, great, right? So everything that I do in my business, that's how I look at it. And my prospecting, everything that I do is, you know, my whole thing is like, okay, so I'm flipping through these no's, but then guess what? I'm going to find that yes. And if you can change that perspective of going, oh my God, I'm getting all these no's, this sucks, to going, I got to get through these no's to get that ace, then now you're going to be like, oh, hey, of course, right? Versus sometimes what happens, guys, and I've seen it happen, and it's happened to me, where all of a sudden I'm like, I'll flip through like 2 no's, and I'm like, oh my God, this doesn't work. Well, no, the reality is you talk to 2 people. You only talk to 2 people. So we can't get mad and go, this doesn't work, or I stink, or what am I doing wrong, or we reevaluate our whole life, when the reality is how many no's have you gone through today or this week to get to that yes, right? I hope somebody's catching this, right? Because I see this so much where I see people get disappointed or bummed out, and I'm like, listen, you haven't even gone through enough no's to get a yes, right? So again, it's the law of averages and how your business works is that, right? This was a great principle for me. So I'm not really going to talk about this. Okay, this is what I want you guys to understand, okay? Well, actually, I take that back. I'm going to go through this. So this is what I want you guys to know, and I actually have 2 really cool stories that I'm going to share with you guys tonight. So how the prospecting works inside of our business, okay? Managing expectations. You have to realize, guys, is that, you know, when people are out there and you're sharing the business, okay, after typically what our stats are, this is really crazy, guys, but when someone shows a business to someone, if they say no, typically 44% of those people give up the first time and they don't ever connect with that person again. 22% give up after the second time. 14% give up after the third time. And, you know, I think what's really important, guys, is you have to know like 60% of prospects out there say no 4 times. They say no 4 times. They might not say like no, they might just say not the right timing, maybe, okay, blah, 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 right? So think about the people that we have on our list that maybe we actually have already scratched off our list because they said no, right? Because they said no. And I think one of the things, guys, that I worked really hard on over the years is just because I had someone say no to me, it didn't mean that I didn't stay connected. Do you know what I always said to someone that said no? I said, hey, listen, I understand like you're not maybe interested or maybe the timing's not right. Do you mind if we stay connected and I followed up with you in 90 days to see where you're at? Do you mind if we stay connected and I just check in 6 months and see where you're at, right? And I let them give me permission to reconnect with them again. Because this is what I know, guys, like when this last slide, 60% of prospects say no 4 times. But here's what's so important. We've got to be willing to stay in the game until they say yes, okay? Until they say yes. So one of my girlfriends, matter of fact, she might even be on the Zoom today, okay? She might have actually even been on that list, my very first list on there. So we've been friends for 23 years, you guys. 23 years, and she joined my business almost 2 months ago. 23 years, right? 23 years, and we've stayed connected, and she knows what I've done, and she knows what I've been doing at Modair, and blah, blah, blah. But guess what, guys? I stayed in the game till she said yes, and now she's here, and the timing's right? Things have changed in her life. And so I want to encourage you, like, that's why it's so important for you. Remember at the beginning of this, I talked about taking the deadline off your business. You got to take the deadline off because you got to be in the game long enough for someone to say yes. I got another message today from someone. I've been dripping on her for 6 years. And she sent me a voice clip today. And she's like, Sarah, you know what? I want to figure out how I can integrate Modair into my life and into my business now. I saved that voice clip because I was like, I've been waiting for this thing for 6 years, right? But it's staying connected and circling back and being in the game till they say yes, and understanding that 60%, you guys got to hear me on this, 60% of the people that you talk to, it's not going to be the right timing. They are going to say no to you, right? Or in the beginning. They might even say maybe to you, right? But staying in the game till they say yes is everything here in the business, like everything. I tell people, you got to have the stickiness. You got to be sticky and stick and stay through the ebbs and flows of the business until they say yes, right? So the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is this, and we're going to wrap it up. Okay? I know I've gone through a lot of stuff today, but I feel like I know a lot of you guys, I've been seeing the chats. It's been fun. This has been a fun training for me. The last thing I want to talk about is this, guys, okay? You are the driver for your bus, Okay, I tell people all the time, you have to imagine Modair is the bus. Okay, you are the driver. The only thing that you can control inside of Modair is one thing: driving the bus. Okay, driving the bus, meaning you can invite everybody onto this bus that you want. And what I'm going to share with you is this, guys. You're going to get people that are going to take one step on the bus and they're going to back off and get off the bus. You're going to introduce people and they're going to get on the bus and they're going to sit down for a minute and they're going to get off the bus. You're going to have people that sit on there and they're lifers and they're going to ride that bus with you for a long time. You're going to have people that get on the bus and they're going to go out the exit in the very back, right? I tell people, you're the driver of the bus. All you're doing every day, guys, is you're inviting people on this bus. Get on the bus, get on the bus, get on the bus, right? You can't control if they say yes. You can't control if they say no, right? All you do is you are driving this bus. I tell people, you don't decide anything else. You don't decide if the bus is for them. You don't decide if you know what I mean? Like, all you can do in this business, one controllable, one thing is inviting. Everything else, that when you understand, like, you can't control any of the rest of these parts of the business, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier for those of you that are control freaks. You're not going to be worried about it. All you're going to be worrying about is inviting. How many people am I talking to today? How many people am I connecting with this week? That is the only thing that we need to be focusing on every day in this business, day in and day out. 7.5 years in, guys, guess what I do every day? I invite. That is what I do. I invite people to take a look at the business. I invite people to try our products. And that is the one thing that I know that I can control what I do. And I understand the law of averages. So I know that I need to be talking to people because I am going to get those no's and I need to get enough no's to get that yes. And I am going to get people that are not ready yet, right? I know that I'm going to get all that stuff. But understanding that once you can manage these expectations, like, you are bulletproof in this business. You are bulletproof. And that the thing that I love about our business is there are only a few fundamentals, guys. We talk to people every day and we share product. That is all that we do. And yes, you're going to, you'll learn how to, invite, and you'll get better because you're inviting more. Like, people ask me, man, how did you become a great inviter? I invited a lot of people. That's how I got good. Not because I'm great with my words or I'm some wordsmith or I'm savvy, right? No, like, I got good because I talked to a lot of people. How do people get really great at growing customer pods? Well, they got great at sharing with a lot of people. Like, that's how they built those pods. So understanding, guys, that the fundamentals, like, once you got it, guess what's great? It's like riding a bike. Once you get it, man, you got it. You can jump on that bike, you can ride it. Even if you haven't ridden a bike in 5 years, you can get on that bike and you can just ride, right? And that's the same thing here in our business. And so I want to encourage you guys is be like, I'm going to get on my bus. I'm on a bus tomorrow. I'm going to put my bus driver hat on. I'm going to start inviting. I'm going to, not treat this business like a lottery. I'm going to be teachable. I'm going to not take a deadline. I'm going to take the deadline off my business. I'm going to work hard on being positive, right? I'm going to, know that I might have to put a little bit more time in right now and make a little bit less money, but I know the longer I do it, the more that's going to flip, right? Learning how to manage all of those things is going to make every single one of us like unstoppable. And I'll tell you, going into the rest of this month, we want to help you guys get unstoppable as fast as possible, because what's coming in November, what's coming in December, like, us as a team, oh my God, guys, like, people are going to be begging to get on this team. People that aren't on this team are going to be wishing that they were on this team because of the stories and the impact that every single one of us are going to make together. So guys, I appreciate you guys so much. Let's make it an awesome, awesome week together. I'll get you guys a replay of this, but please, guys, make sure, mark this in your calendar every Monday night. We're going to have great people on here. We're going to jam through stuff. We're going to pour into you guys. We're just going to raise up this just incredible volunteer army of people that are just, we've locked arms. We are making an impact, and at the same time, we're having a ton of fun. So I appreciate you guys. God bless you, and let's make it a great, great week together. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care, everybody.